Hey, what's up, Bob Mortgage Nation? This is episode number 3 of the Ask Bob Mortgage Show. You have questions, I have answers. Great question. What I want to be able to do is give you world life experiences that I've been going through. Now, what do we do on the show? Well, what we do is provide a space for you guys to be able to ask your questions. Okay, go to Instagram, go to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and just ask your question, hashtag AskBobMortgage, and then every show I'll come on and answer those questions. So, number 3, Leonard, what do we got, buddy? What's the questions?
All right, so first off, we got Alyssa actually emailed us a video asking you her question.
Yeah, video, huh? All right.
So Bob, I just started college and I really want to get out of my dad's house. Is there any way I can buy a house, or am I stuck renting until I graduate and get a full-time job? I work off tips right now, but I don't think that'll cut it. What do you think?
So Alyssa, thank you so much for actually taking the steps necessary mentally to want to get out of renting. Or living with your dad. That's a great first step. Now, you're just starting college, really don't have a stable job, just started a part-time job. So what we're going to have to do is if you want to get out of renting or want to get out of your house with your dad right now and buy a home, you need to talk to a family member and see if they will actually co-sign for you on a home. Okay, look, I'm telling you, 22 years ago, I bought my first home that way. My wife and I were just getting married. I was in a job and an income, actually starting in this business where I didn't have any history and I couldn't use my income and we didn't have any money. So my wife's grandparents actually co-signed for us to be able to purchase the home. We did it on an FHA loan. It's called an FHA, non-occupying co-borrower. We got to use their income and their assets to help my wife and I be able to qualify to purchase that home. And it worked great, a little $60,000 home, and we lived in that for a couple of years, sold it, and we've lived in 12 homes over those last 22 years. So you get to start out a whole lot younger than I did. So if you have that opportunity to have a family member co-sign for you to do that, I think that would be the best first place to start. So hopefully, Alyssa, that helps and gets you on the right path. But I already know mentally you're there. So whether it's doing it today with your cosigner or getting a stable job, whether you're in college or out of college, you're getting a stable job that we can use as far as W-2 hourly or W-2 salaried income, then you're going to be well on your way to building wealth through real estate. What else we got?
All right, so Bob, we got Steve on Facebook. He asked, "Hey Bob, I was thinking about buying a new build home. I went and looked at a couple of subdivisions the other day, and one of the builder sales reps I spoke to told me I can get a better deal on my loan by going through their mortgage company. I'm a little skeptical since it's all under the same roof. Would you help me determine if that is true and what I need to look out for to make sure I get the best deal?"
And who is that?
This is Steve.
Steve, great question, and good to be a little skeptical. And I'm just telling you, it could be a great deal with the builder. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes those deals work out really well. Sometimes they don't. And so here's what my advice is to talk to the builder, talk to the builder's mortgage company, and see what it is they're providing you in their incentives, right? Because if it's a builder-owned mortgage company, let me tell you, the builder mortgage company is not providing the incentives. It's coming from the builder. So if they're providing you like $30,000 of incentives, I'm just going to tell you, scrap the incentives, negotiate the sales price, because you're going to save a whole lot more money on that $30,000 reduction in sales price than you are just getting $30,000 for closing costs and stuff like that, because your closing costs aren't going to be that much. But if it's like $6,000 or $10,000 or something like that, then what we need to do is what we call a total cost analysis. And we want to compare what the builder mortgage company is offering you and what, let's say, we as a mortgage banker would be able to offer you. Because a lot of times that I find that if they're going to give you $6,000 or $10,000 at call it a 4.75% interest rate, and we're not going to give you those incentives, but we can offer you 4.5% interest rate, and you're okay with that out-of-pocket expense, paying a little bit more up front because you're not getting that incentive. When you look at this thing and you take this out and you look at the ownership cost with that lower interest rate over 15 years, I mean, you're going to be saving $20,000+ on that quarter point lower interest rate. That doesn't necessarily mean we can't match it. We can. I mean, I've done plenty of loans where I've had to match the builder incentive and either provide the same interest rate or even possibly an eighth of a point lower, but at least the same interest rate. But really what I look at is, do you have the ability to handle that extra $6,000 in cost for closing cost? And then let's go make sure we get you that quarter point at least lower rate, because that's where significant savings comes into play. It's good to be skeptical, eyes wide open, right? Walk into it, evaluate both sides, but then really look at it over the long period of time is my advice to you, Steve. So appreciate the question.
Awesome. All right, so next up we got Lori Larson 75 on Instagram. Asked, hey Bob, I'm planning on buying a home next year and wanted to confirm how much of a down payment I would need to save up for. I'm getting some mixed reports. Some sites tell me 5%, others say 3.5%. Appreciate your guidance.
All right, well, love my Instagram peeps. So they're going to be the 5%, the 3.5%. I mean, it just depends on the type of loan that you're going to be looking for. So if we start off, with conventional is going to start at 3%, right? So that's going to be the lowest down payment. And then it can scale up from there. So you can go to 5%, you can go to 10, 15, 20, or as much as you want to put down. FHA is going to have a minimum down payment of 3.5%, and then it'll scale from there. So she didn't really say which loan. I'm assuming it's either going to be FHA or conventional because she's referencing the 3 or 3.5. But there are two other types of options, which is a VA and a USDA. Now, VA is for our military people, and if you're in that category, then that's no money down. So that's actually a zero down payment. And then USDA is also going to provide a zero down payment. Now, USDA has some geographical restrictions that we'd want to look up for you, but that is actually no money down. So 3% to as much as you want to put down in standard traditional loans, and then the VA and USDA can start out at zero. Now, even on those three FHA and conventional 3.5% loans, we do offer grant programs for first-time home buyers, second, third-time home buyers. You don't have to necessarily be a first-time home buyer, but grant programs that will cover the down payment for you. So you could actually take that 3% and let us go with a state grant, have it pay the down payment, and possibly even some of the closing cost for you. So hopefully that's not too complicated, but what you're seeing out there, accurate, but it's not the full story. So hopefully that will deliver the full story for you. If you have any questions, just give us a call. I'll be happy to go into more detail for you about that, but thanks so much for the question. Any more?
So I like this next one here, Bob.
Okay.
Rick on Facebook asked, my wife and I are looking to go into business together. I've been following your videos, and it seems like you and your wife have a strong work relationship. What's your secret?
Who was that?
This is Rick.
Rick on Facebook?
Yes, sir.
Rick? Yes, dear. All right, that's what I'll tell you my secret is, my man. Just say yes, dear. No, in all honesty, and being very serious with that, if you and your wife are looking to go into business together, you need to pick your lane. I think what's really important and works really well for my wife and I, Jennifer, and I appreciate you saying what you said, that we look like we knew what we were doing or something like that. We do, but at the same time, we take ownership in each one of our lanes. She handles a segment of the business that she's the best at. It's the marketing, it's the business development, the relationship building. She's amazing at that, and that's what her lane is. And mine is the mortgage process and the business of mortgages itself and the approvals and the client experience. And while they do cross over, we both take ownership in that, and it helps us have better communication. We don't really get into each other's business as much because I know what she's supposed to be doing. She knows what I'm supposed to do. We collaborate and talk, but we're all moving forward in the same direction. I think that's going to be my most biggest piece of advice is pick a lane and give each other ownership in that lane, and that way you know you're moving forward together. Because if you tend to get, if both of you are staying in the same lane, you're playing in the same space, that's when there's too much complication. The communication starts to break down. He said, she said starts to happen. And, you know, it erodes, I think, not only the business relationship, but it can erode the family relationship. So pick your lanes, stay in it, and just say yes, dear. I think that's my advice, man. Steve, right?
Rick.
Rick, I'm sorry. That's my advice, Rick, man. Hopefully that plays well. Let me know how it goes, man, because I do want to know if that advice helped you out, man. Anything else?
Nope, that looks like that's it.
All right, question of the day. So that's what we roll with on question of the day. I'm going to go with that question back out, because here's the thing. We have a lot of people that do work with spouses within our sphere and our network and everything, and it's really obviously near and dear to me and to my heart, my family, because we work together all the time. What would be your single biggest piece of advice for people going into business with their spouses? I want to know your answers on that. Please leave the comments in the comments section. I want to know your answers. So, guys, you keep asking questions, and every week I'm going to work hard to answer them. Have a great week.